Did you know that 5 simple exercises can solve almost all your mobility issues? It doesn't matter if you felt stiff for years, these movements, used by physical therapists with their patients, can transform how you move in less than a month. And we're starting with an exercise you've probably never heard of, but it's going to completely change how your hips function. It's called the hip airplane, and as strange as it sounds, physical therapists consider it one of the most effective exercises for hip mobility and stability. If you have tight hips, lower back pain, or feel completely stiff every time you try to bend down, this single movement tackles all those issues at once. And don't worry if you've never done it before. You can do it right now at home, no equipment needed. But if you spend long hours sitting during the day, you absolutely need to learn the proper technique. Step 1. Stand on one leg with a slight bend in the knee. Step 2. Hinge forward from your hips while extending your other leg straight behind you. Your body should form a T shape. Step 3. Here's the key part. While holding that hinge, rotate your hips upward toward the ceiling. Then rotate downward, closing your hips toward the floor. Keep your standing leg stable and your core engaged throughout the entire movement. Start with 5 to 8 rotations per side, and gradually work up to 10 to 12 reps. And trust me, if you've never done this before, it's not as easy as it looks. Your balance will be challenged, and your hip will be working in ways it probably hasn't in years. That's why you'll want to start by holding onto something stable, like a wall or a chair, until you build that stability. What makes this exercise so powerful is that it takes your hip through its full range of motion while simultaneously challenging your balance and core stability. Most people only move their hips forward and backward when walking or sitting. But your hip joint is designed to rotate in multiple directions. When you never use those rotational movements, the joint stiffens, and your body compensates by placing stress on your lower back. That's why so many people with tight hips also suffer from chronic lower back pain. By doing hip airplanes regularly, you're essentially reminding your hip joint how it's supposed to move. You're lubricating the joint, strengthening the small stabilizing muscles around it, and retraining your body to move the way it was designed to. After just a few weeks of this exercise, you'll notice bending down feels easier, walking feels smoother, and that nagging lower back tension starts to fade away. Perfect! Now that we've opened up the hips with rotational movement, it's time to shift focus to a position that restores mobility throughout your entire lower body. The deep squat hold with arm reach takes the traditional deep squat and adds an upper body component that simultaneously opens your thoracic spine and shoulders. This exercise is incredible for improving hip mobility, ankle flexibility, and upper back rotation, all at once. These are areas of the body commonly overlooked when people design a stretching routine. By working hips, ankles, and thoracic spine together, you help restore the natural movement patterns your body has lost from years of sitting in chairs and hunching over screens. If getting down to the floor feels like a challenge, or you've experienced stiffness trying to squat, the deep squat hold with arm reach is essential in your routine to help you feel younger and more mobile. Step 1. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart and toes slightly turned out. Step 2. Slowly lower into a deep squat, keeping your heels flat on the floor and your chest as upright as possible. If you can't go all the way down yet, that's okay. Lower as far as you can while maintaining good form. Step 3. Once you're in your lowest position, place one hand on the floor for support. Step 4. Now reach your other arm toward the ceiling, rotating your upper back as you follow your hand with your eyes. Hold that rotation for one breath. Then lower your arm and switch sides. Do about 5 reaches per side while staying in the squat position. If balance is challenging, simply hold on to something stable, like a countertop or door frame, for extra support. Keep your heels down throughout the entire exercise. Avoid rising onto your toes. That creates unnecessary knee strain and reduces the movement's effectiveness. After just a couple of minutes of this exercise, you'll feel your hips, ankles, and upper back genuinely start to open up. But if this feels too challenging at first, you can try elevating your heels on a small plate or a folded towel to make entering the deep squat easier. I'm pretty sure you'll be eagerly waiting for the 5th exercise, because it dramatically improves how your hips rotate in both directions. It's especially helpful for anyone who feels stiff getting up off the floor. But more on that in just a moment. Now, we're moving straight into the couch stretch, simple, but incredibly effective. At first glance, it might look like just a basic lunge stretch, but this movement delivers one of the deepest, most effective stretches possible for your hip flexors and quadriceps. It specifically targets the muscles that chronically shorten from sitting all day. This isn't just about feeling a good stretch, it's about functionality. Your hip flexors connect directly to your lumbar spine. When they're tight, they pull your pelvis forward, creating that excessive arch in your lower back that leads to chronic pain. The couch stretch doesn't just release that tension, it also helps restore your pelvis to its natural position, taking pressure off your lower back and allowing you to stand and walk with better posture. Step 1. Find a couch, a sturdy chair, or even a wall. Step 2. Step into a lunge position with your back knee on the floor and the top of your back foot pressed against the couch or wall behind you. Your front foot should be flat on the floor, with your knee bent at roughly a 90-degree angle. This is where most people go wrong. They let their lower back arch and their hips tilt forward. Instead, tuck your tailbone down and squeeze the glute on your back leg side. You should feel a strong stretch along the front of your hip and quadriceps. Imagine a rope pulling you upward from the crown of your head to help keep your spine tall and straight. Hold this position for 30 to 60 seconds per side. As you become more flexible, you can increase intensity by keeping your torso more upright or gently pressing your hips forward. Focus on slow, deep breaths to help your muscles release and relax into the stretch. Now, if you're someone dealing with chronic back pain, stiff hips, or joints that ache every time you move, I want to tell you about something that can help. Doing these 5 exercises is great, but if you want a complete day-by-day program that restores your mobility from head to toe, that's exactly why I created Reboot Your Body. It's a simple, step-by-step 30-day program designed to help you move pain-free again, so you can get down on the floor with your kids or grandkids, get up without wincing, and actually enjoy being active instead of dreading it. Now that we've focused on releasing the hip flexors, let's shift gears and dive into a movement that restores mobility to your upper back. Thoracic spine open books are one of the most effective exercises for improving rotational mobility in your mid-back, and it's an area that most people completely ignore. Your thoracic spine is the section of your back between your neck and your lower back. It's designed to rotate and move freely, but due to modern lifestyles with long hours hunched over computers and phones, this area becomes stiff and locked up. When your thoracic spine can't rotate properly, your body compensates by over-rotating at your lower back and your neck instead, which leads to pain in both places. This exercise not only restores that lost rotation, but it also opens up your chest and shoulders. It's particularly helpful for anyone who feels tightness between their shoulder blades, has rounded shoulders, or experiences neck stiffness. Look, if you've ever tried to look over your shoulder while driving and felt like your whole upper body had to turn with you, this movement right here is essential for regaining that natural rotation. It's also going to transfer over to sports like golf, tennis, or pickleball and make your swing feel so much smoother and more powerful. Now, I know it looks easy, but I suggest paying close attention to the form. Step 1. You're going to lie on your side with your knees bent at about 90 degrees and stacked on top of each other. Step 2. Extend both arms straight out in front of you, palms together. Step 3. Now, slowly lift your top arm and rotate it open, following your hand with your eyes as your arm travels in an arc toward the floor behind you. Keep your knees pressed together and stacked throughout the movement. Your goal is to get your top arm and shoulder blade to touch the floor while your knees stay completely still. Hold that open position for a breath or two, feeling the stretch across your chest and the rotation in your mid-back. Then slowly bring your arm back to the starting position. Aim to do about 8 to 10 repetitions per side, then gradually increase as your mobility improves over time. If your knees keep wanting to separate, you can put a pillow or a yoga block between them to help maintain that stable base. Avoid rushing through this motion. Focus on slow, deliberate movements in order to maximize the stretch and improve mobility. The key is to let your thoracic spine do the rotating, not your lower back. If you feel this stretch mostly in your lower back, you're probably letting your hips roll open too much. Keep those knees stacked and focus the rotation in your mid-back. When most people try to improve their mobility, they often forget that their hips need to move in multiple directions, not just forward and back. That's why I saved 90-90 hip switches for last. This exercise is a highly effective movement that targets both your internal and external hip rotation, which are two of the most commonly restricted ranges of motion in the human body. This is a simple yet very powerful way to improve your hip flexibility, reduce tension in your lower back, and increase your ability to move freely on the ground. These are all things that lead to living a better life with less pain and more independence as you age. So, if you struggle to sit cross-legged on the floor, have trouble getting down and up from the ground, or feel stiffness deep in your hips, this exercise is a must. Poor hip rotation from years of sitting in chairs leads to compensations throughout your entire body. 90-90 hip switches will help restore that rotation and make moving on the ground feel natural again. Follow closely how to do it. You're going to start by sitting on the floor with one leg in front of you and one leg behind you, both bent at 90-degree angles. Your front shin should be roughly parallel to your body and your back shin should be roughly perpendicular to it. This is the 90-90 position. And for many people, just sitting in this position is a stretch. Now, try to sit up tall with your chest lifted. If you can't keep your spine straight, that's a sign your hips are very tight and you may need to sit on a yoga block or a cushion to elevate yourself slightly. Once you're in position, hold for a few breaths and feel the stretch in both hips. Here's where the switch comes in. Lift your knees slightly off the ground and rotate both legs in the opposite direction, ending up in a mirrored 90-90 position with the other leg in front. Keep your torso facing forward as your legs rotate beneath you. Then switch back. That's one repetition. You're going to want to avoid using your hands to push yourself over. The goal is to use your hip muscles to control the rotation. Focus on slow, controlled movements in order to build strength and mobility at the same time. If you want to challenge yourself, you can try holding each position for a few breaths before switching. Or you can add a forward fold over your front shin to deepen the stretch. As you get more mobile, you can also try doing the switches without letting your hands touch the ground at all. Alright, now's the time for me to show you how you can combine these exercises into a very quick and effective routine that you can do every single day. Up first, you're going to do hip airplanes for 2 sets of 8 repetitions per side. Start by holding on to something for balance and then progress to doing them freestanding. Then, you're going to do the deep squat hold with arm reach for 2 sets of 5 reaches per side while holding the squat position. Then, over to the couch stretch and you're going to hold for 30 to 60 seconds per side for 2 rounds. After that, we do thoracic spine open books for 2 sets of 10 repetitions per side. And finally, 90-90 hip switches, which you're going to do for 2 sets of 8 switches. As always, be sure to take your time and breathe through each movement. This isn't a workout where you're trying to rush or break a sweat. In total, this routine takes about 15 to 20 minutes and addresses mobility in your hips, lower back, and upper back. These are the 3 areas that cause the vast majority of stiffness and pain that people experience. This routine, consistently done daily or at least 4 to 5 times per week, will yield noticeable results within just a few weeks. You'll feel looser, move easier, and that constant stiffness you've been living with will start to fade away. So there you have it. 5 exercises that address 95% of the mobility problems most people face. Hip airplanes for hip rotation and lower back relief. Deep squat hold for total lower body mobility. Couch stretch to unlock those tight hip flexors. Thoracic open books to restore your upper back rotation. And 90-90 hip switches to move freely on the ground again. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a gym membership. You just need 15 to 20 minutes and the commitment to show up for your body. Imagine waking up without that stiffness, getting down on the floor to play with your grandkids and getting back up with ease, moving through your day without that nagging ache in your back. That's not just possible. It's what your body is designed to do. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one of these 5 exercises and try it right after you finish watching this video. Then come back and drop a comment telling me which one you tried and how it felt. And if this routine helped you, do me a favor and share it with someone who's been complaining about being stiff or dealing with back pain. They'll thank you for it. Make sure you're subscribed because I drop new mobility and strength training content every week that'll help you move better and feel stronger. And remember, if you want the complete 30-day program that takes you through every step of restoring your full body mobility, check out Reboot Your Body. Your body is capable of so much more than you think. You just need to give it the right movements. I'll see you in the next one. Now get moving.